Well, hi, I'm John Hart. Welcome back to Mr. America Hart. Today I have a great second part to a really fun interview with natural WNBF pro bodybuilder Agostino Russo. Agostino, accolades galore here. He's done very, very well in both the amateur and now professional ranks in natural bodybuilding. I know you guys, my subscribers, have asked many times, can you get more interviews with, some of the guys that are natural? Can you get more of their story? Can you get more of the details of how they train, all of that? And that's what I just did, okay? Not just this one time, but, multiple times now. But this one in particular is really good. It's current. We have a current world-class natural pro bodybuilder in the toughest natural organization that exists as well. So he's also lifetime natural, so let's be clear about that one as well. So a lot of you are asking questions about that. So you may have missed that in the first part of the interview. So the second part of the interview, here we go. Pay attention because Agostino is going to be dropping bombs left and right throughout this interview from beginning to end. Here we go. Enjoy.
So Agostino, so you just mentioned the word deload. So do you take... Now, being a pro, and you have obviously a plan that you're executing throughout the year now, I heard you say that regarding your diet. Do you take planned, or do you wait until a certain feeling or lack of progress hits? And do you take a specific deload period, or do you take a complete break from training at some point in time, at any time? How often would you do that?
So since my volume is already low, I don't accumulate a lot of fatigue. So that allows me to take very little deloads. And so that translates in being more productive throughout the year because I'm taking less deload and I'm actually stimulating the muscle. I don't usually plan deloads. Because I'm in that period of time, I may feel good. In that period of time, I don't need that deload. So forcing myself into a deload not only is not productive, but also it's not my approach to training. I really like the challenge, the intensity, pushing myself. And so that's why I don't have planned deloads. But if I feel like my progress is stopping, or if I'm not feeling well, for example, I had the flu in the past few days, so that's a good opportunity to take a deload. And the way I see the deload is reduction in training volume and also intensity. So for example, if you're doing a lot of intensity techniques, just reaching momentary muscular failure is enough for a deload. Or do less exercise. Instead of doing 5 exercises, you do 3. So those are good strategies for deload. I don't typically take a break from the gym completely altogether, just because I love training and it's such a part of me that I don't see myself just not being at the gym and and sitting on the couch or what have you. So
Right. So you mentioned earlier that you have a family, you have a wife, you have children, more than one?
I have 2 kids. Yeah, my son is 4 and my daughter is 2.
You have little babies. Wow, that's awesome. So you mentioned, we spoke earlier and we were talking about for a moment that you also competed in the NPC. Is this correct?
That's correct.
So I mean, everyone's going to question now, Agostino. They're going to ask, why were you in the NPC?
Very good question. I wanted to see myself how I stood against athletes that were not drug tested. So how do I compare with them? If it's true that this method works, if it's true that the high intensity is at least working for me and for my clients and for my training partner, let's just see how I compare against, you know, other people. And sometimes you have other people who are untested, you know, on PD. So how do you do against them? And then it's kind of, it's a way of keep increasing your knowledge um, and expanding your horizons about the whole bodybuilding, not just natural bodybuilding.
So you competed though to qualify. I saw pictures of you at the national level. You went to, was it the Nationals of the USA?
Yes, yes. Like in December 9th, 2023, I did. Yeah, I
The
competed with
national.
nationals.
Okay, so you had to qualify for that though. What show did you do to qualify for that?
So what qualified me to that event was the NPC Northwest Natural in 2022. I was already qualified. The following year, what I did was, okay, I want to stand against an untested show. So I did the same show, but the previous day, I believe, where they have the untested. And so it was very rewarding because I won in bodybuilding, I won my class. And in classic physique, I won my class and the overall. So that was quite the rewarding feeling. And also, like, besides there was a funny aspect that I had worlds 2 weeks after, so I didn't really peak for the Northwest because I didn't want to impact the worlds, which was more important for me. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and it, it was an opportunity to to kind of remind myself that I've come a long way, and that you can accomplish wonders, even being, you know, natural. So
Wow. So the NPC held the Pacific Northwest Naturals, I should say, right? The Northwest Naturals.
that's in
And
2022. Yeah.
and I noticed how the Northwest Naturals is not just the only one that's called Naturals. They have quite a few of them now around the country. Even here in Texas, they have one at least that the NPC is promoting, or promoters for the NPC are promoting, I should say. And do you see this as a trend that could be on the upswing, or do you think that it's something that is just they're testing it out? What do you think?
I have seen that these natural events are going to be more and more promoted from the NPC. I was reading that they might have a natural event at each show, and uh, the main natural bodybuilding show in the NPC IFBB was going to be the Ben Weider natural. So definitely the NPC Federation is looking into natural bodybuilding and get that um, athletes you know, side of bodybuilding.
So what you're saying is that they're actually, you heard that they're considering doing a class of natural bodybuilding tested at each one of their shows, you're saying?
At least the name natural, whether, you know, the level of testing that they'll be doing, that is something that I am not sure how it's going to be organized from the federation. So but at least I think they're going to have many more events that are associated with the untested that are called the natural.
Wow. So that actually that's a way for them to go ahead and just pretty much swoop up everybody that exists, because every natural would want to be part of the machine that is the IFBB or NPC, because they have great exposure worldwide. Their shows are just huge. I mean, the numbers of competitors, when you went to the Northwest back in 2022, how big was the show? How many competitors, both male and female, were in the show?
Yeah, a lot of competitors, big venue. Maybe we were like 10 people, around 10 people in bodybuilding, and same number in classic physique. What was really quite eye-opening experience was going to nationals, because there were a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
In my class, there were like about 50 athletes, though. Excuse me.
Okay.
So that the size of those events is huge. So there is a lot of competition there, and yeah, they hold a huge portion of the market. If any non-tested, maybe they are just, they don't have any competition in that regard.
Right, right. So in looking over all of your social media, you call yourself the one working set guy and the high intensity hypertrophy coaching slash PT. I assume that's personal trainer. And so I know that you have a day gig. Okay. Tell us about your day gig, first of all, if you don't mind, whatever, as much as you want to say.
The day gig, what do you mean by that?
Your main job outside of training.
Yeah, so I'm a power system engineer with the Boeing company. So it's something completely unrelated from bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is a hobby and a passion for me. As I say, I needed some type of training that didn't require a lot of time at the gym. I was listening to Brian DaCosta, the new WNBF World Champion. And he does high volume training, 3 hours. That's something great, for if it works, if you can do it. But if you are like a busy professional and you have kids, unfortunately, you don't have 3 hours to spend at the gym. So that had to find something that was working for me. And yeah, in Instagram, I use the one working set guy because after my interview with Kenny and the Longevity Muscle podcast, everybody was just asking and commenting about this, how many sets I was doing, and they couldn't believe that it was only one working set. But that's all I need, one working set per exercise. If you do it properly, if you truly use the intensity as it should be, you won't be able to perform another set with the same level of intensity. And a lot of people think they train intense, but unfortunately they don't know what the real intensity is about. So
Well, yeah, because if they do go and they take any set of any exercise to the absolute end, there's no desire to go ahead and continue on with that same exercise and do multiple sets. And that's regardless, right, of doing warm-ups, because for some reason, I keep seeing people say, I saw some of your posts on social media regarding like how you did some warm-ups, like feeder sets leading up to an all-out working set. I do the same thing, not on every exercise, but just on usually the first exercise of the day, which is usually a compound movement that I would use, a big compound movement, say squats, for example, right? So if you're doing such a thing, I saw the comments that came across when you described how you warmed up and it was proper and you didn't do a ton of repetitions. You were nowhere near failure on your warm-ups, and they were light weights relative to you, okay, and medium weight relative to you. So therefore, you're not exhausting your muscles. You're not creating a massive pump, which would indicate lactic acid and metabolites being built up, waste product being built up within the muscle from pushing it too hard, right? You're doing one all out, balls out, hold nothing back set. Do I have that correct so far?
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's true, the comments that were thrown in there regarding, well, Agostino, he does these feeder sets, that adds to his volumes. That somehow magically delicious has something to do with creating more muscle growth. Do you agree with that or no?
Those I wouldn't say that they are quality volume sets because they're not really producing a lot of stimulus in your for your muscle growth. What they're doing is preparing the body physically and mentally to take your real working set. So there is some volume, and like Mike was trying to reduce that as much as possible. At some point he said, I'm trying to find a way where I can produce stimulus without doing any set, but it is impossible, right? Because you still need to warm up and make sure that your joints are ready, and make sure that your nervous system is ready, even from like an exercise execution standpoint. You do your first set and you're like, okay, I'm just testing how everything feels and my grip and my stance and all sorts of things play a role, but those are not very stimulating sets. So they're not really adding that much volume into my my working session.
Thank you for clarifying that. So as the high intensity hypertrophy coach, okay, I like that a lot, and the one working set guy, tell me, do you do online training? Do you do in the gym training? What do you offer?
I do both online coaching, and I also started recently getting into personal training for every type of clientele, not just athletes. And my approach for them is different, of course, because if you're let's say an average person who doesn't want to compete and doesn't have as many years of experience, yeah, of course they don't need to train as intensely as somebody who's competing and has many years of training under his belt. So my approach is different, and yeah, definitely I love working with athletes, especially those that hit plateaus, and kind of show them a different way of approaching the exercise. And high intensity has been working very well for a lot of experienced athletes because they finally get to recover. That's what I noticed, and that allows them to progress.
And I would imagine that it allows them to progress in the way that they'll get more time practicing their sport and less time overdoing the weight training, overdoing the gym time, and potentially injuring themselves with their sport. Would you agree with that?
I agree, yeah.
Okay. So how do the people get a hold of you specifically if they're interested in Agostino Russo, near future world champion? I'm calling that right now. If they want you to train them online or in person, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
The main social media platform that I use is Instagram. You can reach me at Russo_training. You can also email me at agostinoRussotraining@gmail.com. Yes, just message me, and I'll offer. I can offer services of online coaching or personal training or just consultations.
Good. I'm glad we took a moment just to say that. So here I am boldly making predictions about you, Agostino. I've been a judge in both. I've been a judge in the NPC. I've been a judge in independent contests. I've been a judge in other natural organizations. I've been a judge in the WNBF, and I have 30 plus years judging experience. And I'm calling it boldly myself and saying that with some minor improvements, and I say minor because you have a very good overall package, but with some minor improvements, I am making the bold prediction that you will be at 34 years old. You haven't even come near your peak, and you will be, should you continue to train for the natural realm and the WNBF World Championships, I do believe that you will accomplish the World Championships, which does bring me to ask you directly if you would be so bold as to tell us what are your goals specifically, and boldly declaring what are those goals and what will you do in the next 5 to 10 years. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate your kind words, and definitely will put the work into it. For this year, I take it year by year. I want to focus on improve some areas of my physique. Yeah, especially my back. And yeah, that's what I mainly focus on. You know, what I can control is improve my physique and come back, you know, to the bodybuilding stage better. And yes, definitely take the middleweight. That's the first step, and we'll see, and we'll go from there. So.
Hey, look, you're already third in the world. Okay, so right out the gate, I'm going to come out and say, anybody who's watching this right now, if you think somebody makes it to third in the world and they're not eyeballing first place and they're not eyeballing that overall, okay, well, I would question how much heart they actually have and passion they actually have for their sport, for the activity. And in this case, and it would also indicate that they were blessed with just oodles of genetics that they pretty much take for granted if they're not shooting for the top. Okay. So in effect, I'm saying, Agostino, that yeah, you should be shooting very high. And in the very near future, I believe that you'll prove my predictions to be very much on point. I have that expectation. So tell us this, do you have any sponsors that you want to mention while we're on?
I'm working with Prozis at the moment. Yeah, they're a supplement company, but they also do clothing, and yeah, they have everything. They have so many products. So I'm working with them at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
and
you,
some, yeah,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
And then a little bit of collaboration with Gasp clothing. So.
Okay, so if you give me the links for Prozis and for Gasp, I will include it in the video description of our interview. And so your sponsors will be very pleased because I have a decent amount of exposure, and I would predict you're going to get some good exposure. Anybody who's watching this video as well, my subscribers, any new viewers to my channel, get on over and follow Agostino. Get on over to his social media. Are you on YouTube as well, Agostino?
Yeah, I have a small platform on YouTube. My plan is to actually record the more videos. YouTube allows you to be to record longer videos and explain things in more detail than Instagram. So that's definitely something that I'll be focusing on in the future.
So ultimately, you want to increase on your social media exposure to other platforms. Yes?
Yes, it's a way for me to give back some of my knowledge and help out people who are involved in bodybuilding, or just trying to get, you know, some results, you know, for their physiques. So if anything I can do to help them, that will be very good for me too. So.
That's the thing that I noticed about you, Agostino, is that when I looked over all of your content and over everything that's out there in internet land, it's obvious that you weren't doing any of this for the money. It was obvious. I had to question, you know, what do you do for money? You know, I'm glad you have a job, right? And so anybody again who's watching this, obviously Agostino is not just a genetically blessed bodybuilder who's driven, that is training correctly, especially at the stage of his career, but is highly intelligent and can offer a lot as a personal trainer and can help you with your personal goals. So I am recommending that you get a hold of Agostino, and also along the way, mention where you saw him. Okay, let him know that you saw him on Mr. America Hart. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all. Okay, at least Agostino will know that his time wasn't wasted here with us, and that he's getting a little bit of exposure. I would also predict, Agostino, that you're going to get a right now, as of today, I think there's about 44,000 people that are going to get to watch this video. So I think you should get a few new videos popping up on YouTube ASAP in the next week or two. That would be smart if I were you. In the meanwhile, my brother, mio fratello, Agostino. I'm just speaking a little Italian to you, my brother. So in the meanwhile, I want you to know I'm looking forward to what the near future brings. And I want you to take the listeners, the viewers. Is there anything you'd like to say at the end of this? We're about to wrap it. So please, you have the floor. You have the last minute yourself. Anything you want to say, anywhere you want to go with it, the floor is yours. And at the very end, I'll just give a sign off real quick. But please let the viewers know what it is. Speak from your heart if you wish, and let them know where you're at. And I mean, they already know how to get a hold of you, but anything you want to say, please go ahead.
I want to just say thank you so much for this interview. It was a pleasure. It was fantastic to talk to you in person. Through video conferencing. I look up to people like you, and thank you so much for the kind words. I can't wait in the future to have maybe another conversation between the two of us. And for closing statements, I will say you'll be amazing of the wonders that you can accomplish without PED. So just give it a chance. Thank you.
Wow. I love it. That was straight to the point. Agostino Russo, third best natural pro middleweight in the world in 2023. 2024, straight up, my brother. Viewers, Mr. America Hart, subscribers and viewers, thank you for stopping on by. Go over to Agostino's social media, check him out. Keep an eye out for him. He is invited back. I am having him back. Okay. So as he goes through his off season, his in season, Agostino, he knows he's welcome back to our channel. And I'm looking forward to the contributions he may add and perhaps open your minds up to something new along the way. So from my heart to you, John Hart signing off. See you soon.